Taiwan is bursting with heaps of fun places to explore. Join me, Amber Hatfield, as I hit up travel hotspots, soak up some culture, and hunt down hidden gems. Let's go! Hello and welcome back to another episode of Let's Go with me, your host, Amber Hatfield. This week, we will be talking with Lisa. We chatted with her last week about thrifting in Taiwan, and we're going to be continuing that today, talking about the prices of things you can find, her favorite pieces and what she likes to look for, what she does with her old pieces that she can't keep, and so much more. So let's get into it. Lisa, how are the prices when thrifting in Taiwan?
Wonderful.
Okay.
Glorious. In fact, I feel quite spoiled thrifting here in Taiwan, so it will definitely be interesting to thrift elsewhere because thrifting in Taiwan is so gloriously cheap. Most of the things I thrift, a Fuhe is probably the cheapest, which I think is why I like going there. Normally, I get things for 10 to 50 NTD per piece.
Wow.
And I'm talking glorious pieces that should be definitely much more, and that's what makes it easier to experiment with style, is because I can find things for so cheap. I tell my friends I don't pay for the clothes themselves, I pay for the privilege of trying them on.
Okay. Okay, so you just buy like the stuff and then obviously you've got to take it home to try it on, right?
Yeah. So I would say Fuhe is definitely the cheapest. Yongchun ranges from 50 to 200. And the new place that I found up near Shilin is about 50 to 100 as well. So very cheap.
Yeah, really good. And so what's your process like when you've found clothes or when you've brought them home, or maybe they don't fit, or maybe you decide actually maybe this doesn't fit with what I want? Do you kind of just give them away to friends, or like what do you do with all your extras, or do you just keep them all?
Actually, my friends have been joking about this because they all say they've become kind of living dolls for me because I'm always constantly dressing them now. Yeah, normally what I do is I'll try them on at home and I'll have my best friend come and help me. And so if something doesn't fit me, I'll make her try it on. And so slowly, she doesn't even have to go thrifting with me because now her whole closet is things that I've thrifted as well. And so if they don't fit her, then I have another friend. So I have a different size range of friends, so I'll just send off the clothes. But of course, I'll still pile up things, So that actually kind of became a bit of a problem. So I tried donating for a little while, and then my friend suggested, I should try selling them. So I had an online shop for a little bit. That was kind of confusing to do, and I think also confusing for the people who followed me as well. So a few weeks ago, I held a pop-up store. So I was like, just come. I'll sell my clothes for like super cheap. Let's have coffee. Let's chat. Let's talk about thrifting. And if you go home with some clothes, better for me and better for you. So that was actually quite successful. I sold more than 50% of what I put out.
Wow.
So, and also I got to meet a lot of cool people, locals and foreigners who were interested in thrifting. So that was fun. I might do that again, but I haven't really put much thought into it, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. I'd love to know, what are some of like your favorite memorable things that you have thrifted in Taiwan, if there are any?
Oh, there are everything. But I can tell you what my favorite thing to thrift is.
Okay.
I cry a little bit on the inside every time I see one. Is a set, like a clothing set, like a matching pair of like shirt and pants or shirt and skirt. Every time I see a set, that is the most likely thing I will buy.
Okay.
Because I feel in the States that it's so hard to find, and if you find, it's very expensive, and I just love the look of a matching set. So anytime I see one, oh my goodness, I have to buy it. And I hope it fits. I think my favorite set, there was one I wore in a recent video to the Botanical Gardens. It's this matching kind of Cheongsam inspired shirt and skirt in this beautiful orange and red candy stripes. I just felt so like Taiwanese 90s when I was wearing that. So that has to be, I think, one of my favorite pieces.
Awesome. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about sustainability and fashion. I want to know if any part of you wanting to do thrifting was also to do with that kind of thought, like about how now we've got so much fast fashion and things are getting thrown away and everything. And I wonder if that is part of why you like to thrift or not.
I'd say it's part. I wouldn't say it's the driving force, but it's something that always stays, I think, in the back of your mind when you're getting clothes, especially from online places like Shein. Like, am I like the harm I'm doing with my actions? And I think that is always going to be a big draw for thrifting, is knowing not only will you be the coolest girl on the block, but you'll also be helping out the environment.
Yeah.
So no, it's definitely something on my mind. It makes me feel better. I think too, because I shop so much and I get so many things, it does make me feel a little bit better about having such a hoard in my house. And I think it also feels more rewarding versus like going into a shop and just picking out what you like. I think my joy in thrifting comes from, one, never knowing what I'll find. Like, I never know. And it's like, even if you find something, will it fit? Right? So that feeling of accomplishment and joy when not only do you find something that you like, but it also fits you perfectly. I think it adds to the shopping experience.
I guess it's like if you find it and then it fits you, it's like this was meant to be.
It was meant to be. It was fate.
Yeah.
Which only makes me love it more. I'm like, oh, it's mine. Like, look, it was made for me.
Yeah. And it's funny as well because I've gotten a few clothes from secondhand stores. I used to live in Tainan, so there was a few secondhand stores that I found in Tainan. Just a couple, not really very many, but a couple of the things I have from there, they've lasted me so much longer than things from stores that I buy, like maybe from Zara or Net or any kind of like fast fashion place. I mean, sometimes they're good quality, but you just don't really know. And I think like when you buy something that's secondhand or pre-loved, then you can find that, someone's already been wearing this for so many years and it's lasted. And it lasts such a long time for me as well. Like, I think the quality can be much better.
So much better, which is really why I love thrifting. Because I know the likelihood of when I buy one of these pieces is how long I can keep it for is probably going to be a very long time.
Let's talk about any of the advice you would have someone who was like new to doing thrifting in general. What would you kind of say? How should they go about it? Is there like a mindset, or is it just like go crazy, go jumble?
I think as someone who's been thrifting for a long time, even before Taiwan, there are some things you learn that I feel like if you're just starting out, it can be daunting. Normally I'd be identifying fabrics, like what is like a good quality fabric versus poorly made, like what's going to last. But really that's just about going out and just touch everything. And then you'll kind of get a feel for, oh, like that feels nice.
Okay.
Like that would be my biggest advice, is just touch. Touch everything you see, pick it up, feel it, and kind of start to get a hint of what would feel good on your body. And then also in terms of fashion, be prepared to go in and change your mindset, to try something new, to explore different silhouettes and different patterns, and to explore yourself. Because I feel like that is the best thing you can do, is exploring yourself through fashion. I actually have a saying with my friends on why clothes are so important, because for me, clothes hold memories. Like when I go out and I do something during the day, I tie that with what I wear.
Okay.
Right? So everything I wear holds a specific memory. So I feel like the fashion that you put on your body is so important, because when you think back, for me, I always remember what I'm wearing. It's like a little photo album or a memory album for me.
Have you ever thought about doing like thrift flipping? Like making things out of thrifted clothes? Because I know that's quite a big thing that people do now. I don't know if you have the sewing skills or what.
I do not. To be honest, I have thought about it because I also follow other influencers who do flip. I think there are a few things that would keep me from doing that. One, obviously my technical skills in sewing are rather lacking. I can maybe repair a hole, but that's about the extent of my capabilities. And I'm also someone if it doesn't fit, I like to leave it alone. Like I like to find those pieces that do fit me at the moment. And of course there are some where, I desperately would love to get that tailored, or I would love to get it like opened up or something. But I like the idea of knowing, maybe this just isn't for me.
Okay.
It's just not my piece. Except for the only thing that wouldn't account for is cheongsams, because I really want a cheongsam. Cheongsam is what They say in Hong Kong, but here you call qipao.
Okay.
But I also lived in Hong Kong for some time, so I always think cheongsam.
Okay.
But yes, I really love like the traditional qipaos, which are really hard to thrift for because I am a curvier gal, and qipaos definitely do not like to take that into account. So I have actually bought a few qipaos where I think I will get those tailored. I think that's kind of my one exception to the rule.
You just mentioned a little bit about you can fix a hole or something. I was just wondering, if you do find an item that's a little bit damaged, like would you still buy it?
I think it would be in terms of like the scope of the damage. Like if it's stained, that can easily be fixed. Depending on where the hole is, like does it require patchwork or does it require stitching, I think would also be something I'd take into account. Like how much labor would go into fixing it. Because there's certain fabric damage that you just can't fix. Actually, when I was at the flea market yesterday, there was a gorgeous dress that I really loved and I almost got it, but there was some fabric damage that I was like, there's no way to fix that. So that's when you just leave that behind. And sadly enough, I do have a dress that I wear constantly. It's like a leisure dress that actually now has holes in it. So I'm really sad about that. But because I love that piece so much, I think I might just back the fabric with other fabric, just do some patchwork and keep the dress because I wear it leisurely anyway. So no one will complain if there are some holes in it, I think.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the future of thrifting in Taipei. You've been here a while. Do you think that while in the time you've been here, thrifting in Taipei has become more popular or more well-known, or do you think it's still quite an unknown thing that not many people are doing?
I would say a mix of both. Since I started my channel, I got a lot more feedback than what I was expecting. People were definitely interested or knew some things, but to be honest, I would say in terms of general knowledge about these places, it's not really spoken about, but I definitely have seen more people speaking about it since I've started my page. And I don't know if that's a correlation between whether or not it was my influence or because I just entered the scene, so it feels more prevalent. But there is an interest. I think also too an influence from the US, also mixing into parts of Europe, of people wanting to thrift, of enjoying thrifting. So there definitely is an interest here. And I have been able to speak to more people about it who have always been surprised about my own thrifting experience in Taiwan.
Yeah.
So I definitely think there is room and projection for growth, I think, for the thrifting scene here. I still think, I wouldn't say it's early on, at least for the foreigners, probably still, I would say, emerging. But because my Chinese is so limited, I can't really speak for how thrifting is seen here. Among the locals, but to the locals I have talked to, they also say it's started to get more popular in the last few years as well.
Okay. And have you been to any places outside of Taipei to try and do thrifting?
Yes, to varying degrees of success. So normally when I travel outside of Taipei, I'm not always there on the weekend, which is normally when you go to the flea market. So I was just traveling in Tainan and Kaohsiung. And unfortunately, I missed the flea market times, but I had the idea to still visit some shops while we were there. And actually, my last day in Kaohsiung, that was kind of my goal, was to see how many secondhand stores I could go to before leaving. I think I made it to about 6.
Okay.
And in fact, I'm planning on starting a new series here in Taipei to go to all the secondhand stores I can find before moving to Italy, because I feel like that is something I've also neglected since I love going to the flea market so much. I haven't really looked at the secondhand stores or the, in Chinese, 二手市场. I definitely want to explore a little bit more of those since they do also have some interesting pieces, I think, as well.
And you just mentioned that you're going to be moving to Italy soon. So will you continue doing all this thrifting there? I'm sure it'll be amazing there.
Actually, I'm a little scared for my wallet because there are amazing places to thrift in Italy, and it is, well, I'll be right outside the capital of fashion, so the thrifting there will be amazing. And I've also been following other influencers who go to thrift markets there, and it looks incredible. especially because I do love vintage designer goods as well. That was actually something I started in the US, was collecting vintage Gucci bags.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I brought one here with me today.
So in Italy, thrifting in Italy, I guess there's kind of certain kinds of styles that you might be going for. Is there kind of an Italian fashion style that is something that you might be going for, looking for?
Actually, that's something really funny to mention, because a lot of the things I've thrifted here in Taiwan are actually from Italy.
Okay, are they?
Yeah, I have a lot of Italian tags in my closet, funny enough, from Taiwan. So I wouldn't say I'm looking for a particular style, just more like particular eras, I think, is what I favor. Or just anything that, wow, that looks really cool. I need to have that. That's a really good statement piece.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about like your thrifting journey, or any insights that you've gained from thrifting? Just anything that we haven't kind of touched on or covered that you want to talk about?
I can't think of anything off of the top of my head other than do it. Don't be scared. Do it. Like, it's such a unique glimpse, I think, into Taiwanese culture, because not only are you exposed to like historical things, like the history of the people who live here, but you also get to interact with locals in an interesting environment. I found that I'm much more likely to speak Chinese at the flea market than anywhere else. Everyone's so polite. In fact, they all know me now. They like give me little deals. Be like, oh, it's the foreigner girl, the menu, who's always coming here. And it's such an interesting opportunity to explore your own fashion. Like, where else will you find such cool pieces here for under $1? And that's something I'm definitely going to miss when I go to Italy. Being so spoiled by the Ayis here in terms of buying different pieces. So I would just say, take the chance while you can. Explore something new. Explore how you express yourself through clothes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think that's all we got time for. So thank you so much for coming on my show. It was really great to talk to you.
I was so glad to be able to share some of my stories with you and get more word about thrifting. So I'm really happy.
Thank you so much. That's all for this week's episode of Let's Go. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you for another episode next week.